My name's Tyson. I grew up in Tola, Washington. It's on the coast of Washington. It's this little town out in the middle of nowhere, right by the water and the trees. Like you're literally like smack in the middle of the rainforest. And it's a small native community there. I'm Quinault. Those are my people, and that's our traditional land. So lots of history goes into all the people that live there currently. I grew up there my whole life. I went to high school there also. There's a K through 12 high school. And that's really rare in Indian communities. Like a lot of times people can only go for like elementary schools and they have to leave. But I was really fortunate because we have like a public school in the middle of the res, and I was around my people. So it was like this, nothing's truly undiluted, but it was kind of just this. I'm really fortunate when I hear other people talk, just because I got to grow up with Quinaults only, so it's like we didn't really have a lot of the influence. I mean, there was influence of the outside world, but I don't know, just it was our own community, and that's something I think is really interesting when I hear other like Native students talk about like where they grew up, like it was just me and the fam and the peeps. Well, I didn't always live here. I went to school out in Aberdeen until like first grade, and I remember I always used to love coming out here because, of course, the ocean, and this is like where my grandma and my uncles lived, and so I was always really excited when we came out here. And then when we finally like moved here, when we had the opportunity, when they did the whole HUD thing, so that's what this is. This is the new projects. And I don't know, growing up here, I think it helped me from like just identifying as the whole pan-Indian. Like a lot of urban Indians just say Indian and don't really have any connection like to their tribe and to their place. So like here, just being around people that are all from the same area and like being connected like to the land, like it kind of got rid of that whole pan-Indian concept. And I was like fortunate to like have the whole like individuality, like I'm an individual within this. And so growing up here was cool because my identity and my roots are heavily tied to this place. And like I don't know, in the places where like even this house was built, like I don't know, it was nice like growing in a place where that's like your history, that's like who you are, and not a lot of people get that opportunity. So I was really fortunate in that sense, and just being here and learning about like what other people go through, and you see a lot of things here I don't think you get to see anywhere else. I identify like I'm a native person, but I'm also identify heavily like I'm part Filipino too. So I'm all about like having pride, and I don't know, just respecting like all parts of myself. Like I'm gay. It's really important to me that I also understand like other aspects of my identity, because I wasn't afforded the privilege of educating myself about those before. So like I'm really involved in the Pacific Islander community. Like I'm a member of the Filipino American Student Association, Polynesian Student Alliance, Micronesian Islands Club. Like I love it. Like all those islanders there, they're tight with each other, and I like that. Like having this sense of family and like being part of a community is really powerful too. And a lot of that, like the reason why like I stay, like whenever I think about when people try to come against or destroy or say like hurtful, racist, sexist, classist things, I always think about them and how they're a tight-knit group, and how it kills me how people would want to end that or want to destroy that. Like it's precious. I've always been really like self-aware, and so like that's led me to like learn about more adult things that I probably should have waited a little while to learn about. I was like when I was 13, I was sexually molested for a long time, about a year and a half, and a lot of that was me believing that it's okay for someone to treat someone else that way. And so I made myself believe someone could treat someone that ugly and not mean it. So wow, this is kind of hard to talk about. No, it's fine. Just thinking about that time in my life when I was so weak and so silent, it makes me sad because I had a choice I have a point here, I swear I do. Like I had a choice to say something and to do something about it, but I never did. I just have this thing like in the back of my head, like I'm always trying to stay a step ahead of something, and what that is, I don't know. But whatever it is, that's what makes me do whatever it is I do, which is everything, I guess, to some people. But I just have this thing that no matter how deep I go into things or how active in whatever it is I try to do, and that's even hard to define. Like it's not gonna match the tide. Like I always feel like it's me versus the tide. I always look at it in the ocean sense, I suppose, and maybe that has something to do with where I live, but I always feel like it's me versus the tide. I'm always trying to change the direction that it's going, and I don't know if I'm being effective, and when I think about it in the whole tide sense, I'm probably not, but just the fact that I'm resisting, it makes me feel relevant, it makes me feel good that I've been given the privilege to live and exist. My grandmother, like who's a big inspiration and did so much, she had a stroke and it paralyzed like half of her body and she couldn't talk anymore. This most loud, vocal, strong woman was in a wheelchair, couldn't walk, couldn't talk, couldn't hardly move. And for me, like I couldn't imagine what that would be like. That's hell. Like that would be hell for me to have such a strong mind and a strong opinion and so much you want to do and not be able to talk or speak anymore, because a lot of people take stuff like that for granted. Like my ability to walk, talk, think, and speak, some people can't do. Like it's a privilege that we have and that we're afforded and that we're lucky to have. Like when people say like your health, if you have your health then you're fine, like it's true, because if you don't have your health you don't have anything. And seeing her go through that and how she like had to live with that for a few years before she died, it made me go back to think about all those times when all those horrible things were like being done to me and how I could have done something about it but didn't. So when she passed away, and that was really hard too because she was only like in her 50s, I have no grandparents after she passed away. It made me think really hard about how important it is for me to speak and to use my voice and to represent when other people are not representing for you because no one else is going to do it for you. So I just look at it whenever I think about giving up or not speaking up or not saying this or doing that, if it's controversial or not controversial, I think about her and I think about how she probably would have said something if she had the chance or had the ability to. And for me to not use my voice or to get involved or to stay aware and know my rights as a human, then that's a spit in her memory. Like all the people that came before me, like if you have a choice, like you have the power, like everyone has a power to speak up and to represent themselves in a way that's good. And you're standing on so many people. Like we always talk about our ancestors and our history and how they struggled and did this and did that, but we're standing like on their shoulders, like this progressive movement. We're progressive people, I suppose. Like we're constantly moving towards something, so we always have to think about that. And like it's really sacred. Like you're moving forward at all times. Like the people that came before you, like they're the ones who pushed you. Now it's like our turn to like push and to further the movement and to keep going. So that's really a big thing, is just thinking about times in my life when I was silent, when I could have done something and I didn't, and watching someone who had no choice. Like I had a choice and she didn't, and I still have a choice, and that's what I think about, is my choices and my options, because it's what I want and it's what I do.